Hey there, welcome back to For What It's Worth Disney. That's FWIW Disney. That's right, we've got a name now. Last week, I think we went with the as yet to be determined name, but we decided that was too long to fit into a YouTube title, so now we're FWIW Disney, and we're here every Monday. We had so much fun doing it last week. We got a pretty good response, so we're going to do at least one more. If you still want to get more, just keep clicking those likes, sending comments, and all that fun stuff. My name is Doobie Moseley. I'm the founder of LaughingPlace.com, and your co-host. With me is my lovely, beautiful, talented wife, Rebekah Moseley.
Hey, howdy, hey.
And this week we're going to be talking about The Little Mermaid Live, which was all the rage on Tuesday, and we had a good time watching. We'll be discussing that. What else are we going to be talking about, Rebekah?
We're going to talk about what it is that defines the Disney Christmas for us. It's that time of year, and as people who visited the Disney parks frequently, there are certain triggers that when you walked into Disney Park, you're like, yep, it is now Christmas. And so we're going to talk about some of the ones that are the big ones that you're going to think of, but we're also going to kind of look back and think of the ones that maybe aren't around anymore, that were moments where we were like, yep, it's Christmas time at Disney.
And finally, and ironically enough, we are releasing this on Veterans Day, which for Rebekah is the official start of Disney Christmas.
Hey, I was only off by 3 days.
And finally, we're going to do a couple of fun segments that we hope you'll enjoy. One's called Happy or Grumpy, and the other's called Popcorn or Churro, because here on FWIW Disney, we love conjunctions. With that, walking on, let's get started. So the biggest thing happening in media in the entire world this week was The Little Mermaid Live, which, from what I understand, did some pretty boffo for ABC. And so we watched it. And Rebekah, what did you think?
We had so much fun watching The Little Mermaid Live. And I think our viewing pattern with it was different than most of the viewing audience, because since it was on the East Coast, but I was so excited about it, I just followed it on Twitter. So my experience initially was just spending an hour watching the trend, hashtag Little Mermaid, as I caught up on other shows on the TV, or following personalities like what were people saying about John Stamos, what were people saying about Shaggy, that kind of thing. And it was people were having so much fun on Twitter. It was quite split as far as people who seemed to be having a good time versus people who were really, really not impressed. So I couldn't wait for you to get home. And then we watched it together. And since it was a mixture of animation and then the live performances, in essence, a Little Mermaid concert around the animation, which I think is similar. It feels like it might have been inspired by the Hollywood Bowl experiences that were happening out here.
I've heard that.
Yeah, so I shared that. You're so funny. So I have to admit that the first thing that hit me and that I shared with you were some tweets about Shaggy. Right?
Yeah, because Shaggy, if you are of my generation, the funniest thing you've seen in your entire life was Eddie Murphy's concert Delirious, which I cannot recommend anyone watching it because it is dirty as dirty gets. That said, it is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And for some reason, Shaggy decided to pay homage to Eddie Murphy by wearing the exact same outfit. As you can see, they are pretty much indistinguishable here. Although some people thought a younger generation, I'm guessing, thought he looked like Michael Jackson in Thriller.
So that was kind of my introduction to what to expect, and thereby your introduction to what to expect. So that flavored our entire view. We came into it with a different view.
I certainly went in with the right level of expectations and the right level of camp expectations.
Exactly.
I was not expecting Les Mis, although that's probably pretty campy. I don't know. What's considered highfalutin on Broadway?
Well, but I mean, you weren't looking for, say, what Disney has done with Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, or no. Beauty and the Beast live action transition to film.
Right.
And
I was looking for Camp Rock.
Something more akin to the more hometown feel that the Disney on Ice Feld productions give you.
Yes, Disney on Ice is a great comparison. I mean, it's certainly more production value than that, but not that much more.
Well, no, because there's a high level of production to the Disney on Ice. It's just not the same.
It's not Broadway.
Yeah, it's not as finely shaped as Broadway, because it's a different. It's
like Broadway
audience.
with the Zamboni taken to it.
So with that in mind, what we should talk about we loved,
what we liked, what we didn't like so much. So Jodie Benson started this thing out.
How beautiful was that?
Jodie Benson did this 30 plus years ago, because they do the vocals even a couple years before the movie comes out.
Exactly.
Most people out there probably don't know who Jodie Benson is if you're not a Disney fanatic. And here she is introducing this thing that they've been promoting for months and months and months. And just to see her out there with the biggest smile I've ever seen, it made me so happy. It made me so happy.
It set such a lovely tone for it. And it's also so nice to see Disney acknowledging its history and acknowledging the people who have created it. Because it hasn't always been that way. When you talk to voice talent, that pendulum has kind of swung back and forth over the years, whether you can talk about what you do or not talk about what you do. And so it's nice to see Jodie kind of just out there as the voice of Ariel, talking about what the experience had meant to her, and then introducing what we were about to see. And
then it goes right into the animated start of the movie for a little bit, and then it shifts over to Fathoms Below, done live, which was really nice.
In this section, the audience added. I enjoyed the way that they used the streamers to be waves and to have that kinetic energy of waves as you have the sailors dancing on stage, and Prince Eric arrives swinging in, and it's just you could see it was going to be fun and high energy.
And then the Fathoms Below segment ends with what's his name, Grimsby, although he is wearing purple, so you can see my confusion. He gets a fish, and then he kind of bobbles it, and it goes over the side of the ship in the live action, and then very smoothly transitions to that same fish underwater, animated, and that's when I was like, whoa, this is really cool.
Don Knotts fell overboard.
And he's not wearing glasses, but he does look a lot like Mr. Limpet there.
I always thought he looked like Mr. Limpet.
So that was a great start to it. I was hooked.
Yes,
much like the fish.
Yes, you
as
were.
Soon as that happened, I even rewound to see it again. Did I just really see them transition from live action to animated?
And not only that, but we called Gideon in from the other room because he is fascinated by film and television transitions. And we're like, hey, come, check this one out.
And the fact that it was live, I mean, unless they cheated, Grimace was there with the fish and threw it, and they had to... Yeah, anyway.
Which is why this tweet by Sydney R. Sims, the nerd in me, is absolutely fascinated how Disney is pulling this off, how the transition from live studio to animated film to the puppets to, and that's one of the things that made this evening so special to me, and what it is that I love about Disney. The way that they demonstrate that storytelling can be done in a myriad of ways, that you don't have to be a fantastic writer to be a good storyteller. You don't have to be a tremendous artist to be a good storyteller. That stories are told through paintings. Stories are told through music. They're told through puppeteering. They're told through dance.
Through coding?
Yes, sure. They're told through coding.
Yay, I have hope.
But it's just one of those things. You think about The Little Mermaid, and it's a story that's been, it's a traditional folktale that became a animated classic that they've translated to Broadway, to theme park experiences, through fireworks shows, parade units, Disney on Ice. It's just really, that's one of the things that I treasure about the Disney company, is the way that they demonstrate that you can communicate with others through so many different ways.
Agreed. And then came Shaggy. So
I wasn't familiar with him. I gotta admit, I'm a generation off.
I was familiar with his earlier work with Scrappy and Scooby and the gang, but I was not familiar with this version of the Shaggy. Take a look. I mean,
yeah, he was there.
The internet loved him too. They had opinions.
I felt like people who liked Shaggy liked it, and I feel like people who wanted more of a Samuel E. Wright, Jamaican energy.
It lacked energy.
Didn't.
To me.
But I think if you go and you if you listen to the soundtrack album, I think you'll find you feel differently. Because I feel like...
Well, unfortunately, this is the version they showed, though.
but looking at it on screen, there's all this dynamic energy all around him and everything. And so I think he does well within the circumstance. I didn't enjoy the vocals live. I enjoyed most of the vocalists. Honestly, I enjoyed them on the album much more on the album that I did during the TV show. And I don't know if it's the way that things are mixed, because I know that can make a big difference in your audio quality. But like I say, I enjoyed the album.
So, as we're recording this, we're watching his performance of Under the Sea without audio, and it comes across even more sedate than I remember. He's just, I'm sure it's intentional.
Chill.
It's not, he's chill.
He's definitely chill.
He's too chill. He's
too
chill.
And I get how I get that's how he comes across, but I didn't mind it. It didn't make me not like it. It's just different.
And then,
because there have been versions of the song that have been not pleasant.
So on the flip side of that, at least from my opinion, is Queen Latifah, the Queen herself, came out to perform Poor Unfortunate Souls, playing Ursula. And she was amazing, in my opinion. Her vocals were amazing. Her look was really, really, really amazing.
The transition that they did with her costuming from when she first arrives with those enormous tentacles and everything, and then being able to transition so that she can perform on stage. But she was everything that we had thought she would be when those publicity images came out a few years ago from Annie Leibovitz. Remember those?
Yes, which no one knows why they did those. Well, I think Rebecca thinks someone knows, but in my opinion, no one knows why they did those. They were put out by Disney Parks.
Gorgeous, that's why.
They were put out by Disney Parks, and they were celebrities pictured as characters that often had nothing to do with Disney Parks.
Correct.
And every time they'd come out, it would make a big splash, except the splash wasn't that big, and then eventually they stopped. But now we know why they did them.
But they were beautiful.
Much like Queen Latifah. Look at her. She is Ursula. She embodies this. I loved her performance. I loved her attitude was great.
Yeah, it was. And unfortunately she her
had a typo.
live moment, her live moment of the signature line delivered by Ursula got a little flubbed, but oh man, she just owned the stage. It was really nice to see.
And then somewhere in between those two was John Stamos.
He was having fun. I think you put it best on Facebook when you said John Stamos living his best life. I have to say that man was he was using up every bit of that stage, right? I mean, just with how big he was.
It was a big performance. Nothing subtle.
There was stuff being thrown all over the place, and finally I understood why Blue Bag Group tweeted this. Because I had to wait 3 hours until I understood.
And you can what I think would have made this show a little better is if you could just take 25% of John Stamos' energy and transfer it over to Shaggy. This would have been perfect. Completely perfect. Also, in this segment you're looking at now, if they had used Shaggy instead of this stand-in crab, that would be funny because this is Sebastian in the movie.
I don't think I saved it, but I remember one tweet that cracked me up. It was like, Shaggy wouldn't agree to let them chase him all around the stage, which is how we ended up with this. But I think, based upon your description of him as sedate, perhaps it would have used up too much energy.
Yeah, he just didn't have it in him, That performance took it all out. What did you think of the new songs? For me, the new song, I realize you need to fill out some songs, and you have
they're not
nothing
really
in the second
new.
half.
I think new to a lot of people would be a better way to describe
I sang
them.
along to every song in this thing except for these two, so they must be new.
and you weren't alone by your inability to sing along to these Disney songs, but they actually are from the Broadway musical, so they've been around for a good long time.
Lucky
you should know them.
bird inside a gilded cage.
That's not for Broadway. That's from the Disney
Hyperion
theme park.
Theater, and it's not Little Mermaid. It's Aladdin. But other than that, nailed it.
I wasn't a fan of the songs that were added for Broadway, so I wasn't looking forward to or worried which ones. But apparently, when the news had been announced of how many songs there were going to be, people had been speculating, and I think these were pretty much the ones that most people anticipated being added from the Broadway.
I think one of the things that bothered me most is they changed the story so that even though Ariel's voice was gone, she was still able to sing.
Okay, it's a theatrical tool. She was an internal monologue. See? This person knows.
It's too highfalutin for me. But so overall, I have not had so much fun watching something on TV maybe since Stumptown, but before that, it's been quite a while. I really enjoyed it. I really hope they do more. I'm looking forward to Old Yeller next year, I think. What about you?
What did you think of them using the Princess Moana? Is she a princess? Yeah. She is a princess, right?
Yeah.
So we have now another actress who's been the voice of two princesses.
I think since she was in it, they should have found a way to get The Rock in there. You're welcome. I think she did fine.
I thought she was adorable.
She's so adorable. She's very charming. There's something about her that you just want to look at her and be happy. So for that, she worked. You know, she's no Jodie Benson. She's no Ashley Tisdale. But, but she was totally fine. Unlike Eric, who I was not a fan of.
I can't even... Really?
No.
I can't even imagine trying to sing some of those songs and then having, you know, the harness that she had with the opening number.
Dory does it 5 times a day over at Animal Kingdom.
You would have to particularly train to do that. I think it would be a challenging task. But she had that naivete look that Ariel, she accomplished that well, of that just
deer in the headlights
excitement. Yeah, to some extent. Yeah.
I'm 15 and I know everything. Now what do I do? Kind of. And speaking of 15, you know what? Sitting here now, 48, 15-year-olds don't know anything.
There were quite a number of people on Twitter who, now that they're parents instead of kids, did realize that they were viewing this film a little bit differently than they had the first time they watched.
Loved it. Rebecca, I think you loved it too.
I really did, but more than anything, I loved how much fun Twitter was having with it. Whether it was joking around about the super teethy frogs, pointing out the realities that the trash vote kept popping up during the performances.
Don't forget Flounder.
Oh, dude. Okay, you know what? I think that will be my lowest of lows, was when Flounder.
I almost feel like Flounder, maybe the person who took Buzzy took Flounder and they had to do a last minute fill in or something.
Flounder's like chubby and curvy and bulbous, and
Flounder's sick.
There is none of that with this particular rendition of Flounder. But then there were other people who were using Twitter to maybe help us understand some of the creative decisions that went into this, because there was an awful lot of chatter about the lack of claws.
He was just dressed in red, no lobster accoutrements at all. At least give him some claw hands, right?
So what do you say? Claw hands, no claw hands. Here they are.
They made the right decision. But I feel like they should have put this picture out there so we could see. See, we didn't. It's not that we didn't think of it. It just looks bad.
It's just we decided to move away, right? Yeah. The other thing that was really beautiful about the performance was there were moments of it where you could feel like they were being, you know, almost lifted out of the film, the way that they were presenting them. But then on the other hand, you were left with moments where you're questioning why, and that would be the set design of the room that Ariel was in with the villains on the... That
was strange.
I still don't quite know. I mean, I saw Lady Tremaine, I saw Captain Hook. Whose room has... I have to agree with that question. Whose room is this that she is staying in? In Prince Eric. Now I'm beginning to wonder about Prince Eric. See, maybe this tweet isn't all bad. Maybe she needs to be thinking about this better.
But overall, I think they really nailed it with this one. Very happy with it. I can't wait for the next one.
I really enjoyed it. In fact, I hope that they'll do more. I would love to see them bring other Disney musical productions to life this way, integrating the classic animation and the live performance. For the reasons I said, I just love the way when Disney encourages people to explore storytelling through a variety of paths. So it was super awesome.
Agree. 100.
I had a great time. Halloween is over, and within the first 14 days of November, it's Christmas time at Disney Park. Throughout the week between Halloween and November 12th, there were various signs that would indicate to us that, hey, it's Christmas! Now they do it overnight, way more than they did when we were first covering Disney parks. So it's a little bit different. But for me, the first indication for me that it's Christmas is when I spot the high-kicking ornaments
on Hollywood
Studios.
Those are so cool.
I love those.
They're beautiful.
I just stand there and look at them.
And they're cheesy. These are not the best animatronics in the world, but they just make you happy. And if
they're store window.
If they ever take those away,
I would be so sad.
That would be it. That would be the final straw.
I could actually see myself trying to find them like on eBay or something. Like someday I suspect my talented son will craft them for me, so I can have my own little version of them on my desk.
And I agree with that. That would be on my list of my Mount Rushmore of Christmas is coming. Another one would be the Main Street Loop.
Yes.
You walk in one day. You walk in and you're hearing dee 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 dee, flitter in or whatever. And then the next day you walk in and you've got those Christmas songs that never change. The beautiful
music box sound.
And it's so wonderful. And it makes me so happy.
And the sleigh bells.
For the first 4 or 5 weeks. And then come late December, cannot wait for get the real look back. But when it first comes, it's a wonderful thing. Would you put that on your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, 100%. And then I would add to that, there was that special moment when you would, as we would do on a frequent basis, the Golden Horseshoe. And we would sit down and wait for the show to start. And as you're getting close to curtain time, you could hear jingle bells. And you knew it was time for the Hillbilly Show Christmas version,
which is one of our favorite Disney shows, period, let alone the Christmas version.
Oh, yeah, we love that. We loved watching Billy Hill and the Hillbillies. You could find us there pretty much most of Sunday. In fact, a lot of Laughing Place was crafted right there in the Golden Horseshoe, watching Billy Hill and the Hillbillies. Probably why we're so irreverent, huh?
Yeah, explains a lot.
But yeah, eventually they had red overalls, but initially it was just they would attach like little jingle bells to their ankles and come out. They had goofy looking reindeer horns, and then partway through they would drop the most pathetic. It was like a personification of that adorable Christmas tree in the Charlie Brown Christmas, with a single ornament hanging off of it. It
was even more pathetic than that, though. I mean, you can see for yourself how pathetic, but it was adorable.
Oh, and then they did the goofy thing where they would make and then all the lights would go off as if there was a clapper. And of course, because the tree's now lit, it would be like, oh, the tree's so pretty. Oh, man.
I love, from a bygone era, and I think everyone would agree with me on this.
By the way, the Hillbillies are the bygone era, too. They're over at Mouse.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of this is a bygone era.
Oh, are we starting off with bygone eras?
Oh, no.
No, just that
All right,
one.
Never mind. I'm wrong.
Just that
one.
one.
Well, this one is a bygone era, too.
Is it really?
Everyone can remember walking into Epcot and seeing
such
that beautiful
memory.
White sculpture thing with the doves.
What?
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I know what you're talking about. But
I asked Jeremiah, I'm like, hey, Jeremiah, do you happen to have any good pictures of that? And he's like, what?
Oh, dude, this is one of those things my husband was obsessed with.
The dove was so beautiful, day and night.
They were like giant little snowball-looking puffs with doves on them, right?
And amidst like these big spiky, I don't know. You can see for yourself. It's right there in front of you. And I don't know what it was about that, but I'd
be looking at Lights of Winter. He'd be looking at the doves.
I love that. I don't know.
No,
maybe it's something to do with my peaceful heart.
Yeah. Oh, and then anybody who knows me well knows
Rebekah loves shingles.
That my budget and waistline were deeply, deeply hurt when the Christmas time gingerbread house would appear at the Grand Floridian,
which it still does every year.
But I'm far away, and it's harder to get shingles, which is good for my budget and my waistline.
And your waistline.
But oh man, they're so good.
They are good, and I mean the shingles are good. But I just liked having the gingerbread house, live gingerbread house right in the middle of the best hotel there ever was.
That's one of those memories from the early days, just how unreal that structure was. Because living in California, you heard about they built a ginger house at the Grand Floridian lobby. You're like, that's nice. Then you see it, and
you realize it's the size of Sleeping Beauty Castle.
It's like
rim shot.
But wow, it's so amazing how tall it is, and it's like a little shop that you can buy your baked goods. And then over the years, now you have carousels with horses and stuff over at the beach.
Boardwalk.
I'm sorry, over at the boardwalk.
Contemporary
and
has.
the Contemporary has changing exhibits. One year it was dedicated to Small World. Another year it was dedicated to Cinderella. And so it just keeps, these types of lobby decor just keep expanding. There was a gorgeous railroad set in the Yacht Club.
Yacht and Beach Club have.
The Yacht Club had the beautiful railroad set. The Beach Club had the carousel.
Okay.
So, it was just a great time of year to explore the resorts, and each one had their own flavor.
Tastes like gingerbread. And then finally, to further my sense of peace, would be the Peace on Earth segment that closed out Illuminations during the Christmas season. It's just so serene and beautiful and
Doobie
memorable.
does not watch fireworks.
I do not like fireworks.
At all.
A little repetitive, a little boring. Kind of like the show.
But you would watch these. These were fireworks I could get you to come with me to the parks to enjoy. Otherwise, I'd have to come up with some other excuse. Oh, I saw that. I heard that there's a new pin we need to go get a picture of, or maybe the menu's changed over here. We have to go get a picture. And while we're out, I'll catch Illuminations. But this.
How would you describe Peace on Earth, other than a misnomer?
Concussive.
It's loud. It's right over your head.
I think I have CTE from all the times we watched
Ash falls all over you. It's just...
it was like my favorite too.
It's like a 20-minute fireworks show shoved into 5 minutes.
It was incredible.
And it's cool. And it's memorable. And it
gone. It was over the top.
And it's gone. And now we have Epcot forever, temporarily.
Yeah, until Harmonious. So... yeah.
So anyway, that's a little bit of Christmas from us. I'm sure we'll have a lot more coming over the next few weeks.
That's just a taste. That's just
That's gingerbread.
It's like the archway, the weenie. That's the Christmas weenie. Come.
Let's try something new now. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to do something we call Happy or Grumpy, where we very quickly go through a few different topics and just say whether they make us happy or grumpy.
So, as we record this on Thursday, November 7th, just so you know, there was the earnings call. And in this call, it was finally announced that Disney Plus is going to be arriving in Europe March 31st. The Mandalorian and other spoilery content is part of Disney Plus. And I get it, there's all kinds of agreements that lead to this. But if you're in the UK and you're a Disney fan, are you happy or grumpy? You know a date. You know the date. Happy or grumpy?
I'm happy I know the date, and grumpy it's not till March 31st.
I'm unbelievably grumpy. I don't even... I was in a bad mood that I had to wait 3 hours to time because of the time difference between me and the other coast for Little Mermaid. I can't even imagine months and months for stuff like that.
They're used to it. Remember when movies used to come out months and months later? When The Sixth Sense came out, they knew he was dead already. Spoiler alert. Right, I'm going to do one.
Okay.
So this year they announced Small World Holiday is going to have a new addition to Disneyland. It's going to have scents. In Asia, you'll get cherry blossoms. In South America, you'll get cinnamon. And in the South Seas, you'll get coconut. Does this make you happy or grumpy?
Happy. I mean, they had a few scents already, so just adding a couple more, that's nice.
I agree.
It'll be pleasant.
I agree. Completely agree. That's not happy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new studio sign?
I have.
So right now we're showing you the old sign, the new sign, and most importantly, the concept art for the new sign, which apparently did not come to fruition.
Yet.
Yet. Good point. Yet. So, but just given the sign we have now, happy or grumpy? There's no room for happy and a half or something.
No, I know. Well, because, I wasn't particularly enamored with the old sign. The new sign is So, let's see. I'd have to say I'm actually happy. No, I'll go back to grumpy. I'm seriously, this one is like a coin flip.
You're bashful.
I'm sleepy. I'm sleeping on it. That's what I'm doing.
I am most definitely grumpy.
I'm dopey. I'm mute.
Very good.
Thank you.
It's a boring sign.
Really? I thought you would like it. You of all people, Mr.
No. There's
Mr.
a place.
Simplistic.
There is a place for simplicity. That's not it.
Really?
That's a boring site.
It looks a lot like the Facebook logo. I get the feeling it's just a modern. It's like a.
Did you say Disney and Facebook are merging?
No, I did not. What I'm saying is, I feel like there's a trend right now towards very clean and simple logo designs.
Yeah, that's not the place for it on a big archway. Really? That's not the place. If they put if the characters were in there like the concept art, yes, but just like this, no.
Huh. I'm surprised. I really thought you were going to like it. Which is why I put it on here, because I thought we'd be fighting over it.
I'm full of surprises.
Yeah, totally.
New Frozen song that we heard during the commercial for Frozen 2.
I'm not a fan. Mermaid. I'm grumpy.
I'm so grumpy on that.
Yeah. It's not, I don't.
Didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Adele Medine, held the note for the whole commercial. I just wanted her to stop.
She's one of those vocalists that isn't my taste. So
you're so diplomatic.
Well, because it's like, it's one of those. It's art, and so it's a matter. I am not going to say she is a good or a poor singer, because that is
She's
ridiculous.
a great singer, and I don't like it.
Exactly. She's fantastic, but it's just not my taste. You like her when she sings other stuff. You used to listen to the Wicked album like all the time. Isn't that her?
I listened to one song, and
only
it was
one song, and it was Kirsten's.
Yeah, popular.
Yeah.
Gotta
be
popular.
No, please.
Okay, watch this commercial. This is an awesome commercial. I think, maybe not.
Oh, oh, so cute. Ooh.
Ma!
Oh, honey bear.
Hey, I'm trying out some new material. You think I can run one past you?
Oh, of course, dear.
Good. So, why do bears wear fur coats? 'Cause we look silly in sweaters.
Waka waka.
Waka, ma. Portal! From Facebook.
Rebecca, did that make you happy or grumpy?
The Facebook ad campaign with the Muppets has been adorable. They are so cute. I am just so sad that it's been so challenging for Disney overall to find a place for them.
That is one of the cutest commercials I've ever seen. I instantly, they're having trouble coming up with a Muppet show concept that succeeds. We have it now. Fozzie Mommy and Fozzie Bear. It would be so adorable. Mom is so adorable. I love that commercial. It made me happy.
We're such soft.
So I think that's all that... I'm sorry.
I've got one for you.
Okay.
Happy or grumpy? The plethora of popcorn buckets now.
Happy.
You love them?
I love them. Oh my. For one thing, they're great for LP. We get it on Instagram. We get it on Twitter. We get a lot of retweets. It's really good. But aside from that, they're great. I mean, you don't have to buy them. So I think they have 3 so far this holiday season. A bucket, and then a Santa and a Christmas tree. And they're great. Why not?
They also have this enormous sipper. Have you seen the sipper?
No.
It's a metallic red ornament, Mickey jingle ornament. It's adorable.
I love the melding of merchandise and food.
It's hard for me. It's okay. This is one of those things where I'm grumpy because I used to be excited with the popcorn bucket changes. Not the bucket, but the little paper box. And I used to be excited when those would change. There was like a happy little woohoo, yay! Do those change anymore? I don't
think so.
Yeah, so it's
that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
So I don't know. Yeah.
You're grumpy.
I am.
You're grumpy.
I'm sorry to admit it, but I am.
You're Miss Grumpy.
grumpy.
We should. All right. So another game we want to play real quick. Short version. We call it Popcorn or Churro, and this is where subtly different from Happy or Grumpy, because you're given 2 different things and you're choosing which one you like more.
Yes, these are not.
I'm trying to remember, where did it start with? What was the things we were trying to choose from originally that made us choose popcorn or churro?
We were talking about food.
I think so.
We do that a lot.
Was it turkey legs and ice cream?
Maybe Dole Whips and mint juleps.
Oh, Dole Whips. That's not even in question. Anyway, I don't remember what it was.
Then for you.
Okay, we're not going in there. Don't remember what it was, but we decided to settle on popcorn or churro.
Dole Whips are tasty.
Magic Kingdom Holiday Parade. Boo to You. Or Once Upon a Christmas Time at Christmas.
Okay, I love Boo to You. There is nothing that can defeat Boo to You for me. Boo to You is bracket, top of the bracket. It is the best in the Disney parade.
This is a close one for me because I just love saying Once Upon a Christmas Time at Christmas.
Really?
But the grave diggers and Boo to You have to put it over the top. And
you don't
then,
like saying boo to you.
I used to, but I feel like I've said it too much now. I've gotten over it. Happy Halloween. Okay, you're right. I do.
Okay, I'm telling you.
Okay, so we're going to do this tournament style because we're trying to find the best holiday parade of all time.
Okay.
So the winner was Boo to You.
Yes.
Now we're putting it up against the classic Very Merry Christmas. Christmas
It
time.
had adorable
at
gingerbread
Disney
men.
World.
Had adorable reindeer.
Oh, those are the ones with their tongue sticking out? So cool.
I'm still sticking with Boo to You.
You could not be more wrong. I like Boo to You, but Very Merry Christmas is a classic, even though I'm pretty sure I've never actually seen it.
Really?
Yeah. But, yeah.
Okay,
In
but I know
person.
what your favorite is.
Of course, the only.
Christmas Fantasy, right?
Christmas, Disneyland's Christmas Fantasy, which is still playing, right?
Well, I guess it must be amazing because it's been around for a very long time.
I remember its inaugural year with the kids and stuff. And
It was different then because
Yeah.
it had like little kid elves and it had a caroling, a rather extended caroling sequence,
Right.
which I know hasn't been there. But that's one of those parades that it's fun to wait and see. There's certain floats that are going to be in the parade, but it would transition, right? That's it would happen there. Was it be like the ice skating one, and like maybe one year it was Chip and Dale, and then another
Right.
year it'd be Mickey and Minnie.
Elsa and Anna.
I think
I'm pretty
I was
sure.
gonna say I think it was Elsa and Anna on it last year. That kind of stuff is fun.
One last popcorn and churro for you before we finish this show. Disney Plus or Apple Plus?
Really?
I ask because tomorrow Disney Plus is released to the world,
So exciting.
and the world is excited. And I am
so excited.
I think watching the day on Disney Plus on Twitter is like going to be more fun than a theme park opening or something. I'm really not sure what to expect, but I do know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you think it's gonna be seamless fun, or do you think it just like a park opening day? There's gonna be memories of women's shoes sinking into the concrete.
I do not believe there will be any tech issues.
Yeah, I
don't believe so.
I don't either. You're a tech guy. I'm gonna ask you: is it one of those things where like maybe certain more popular programs can end up having issues while other shows that aren't so popular won't, or is it one of those, or is that not the way that tech is really
that
developed?
shouldn't matter. I mean, I've never done anything on this scale,
Right.
but that shouldn't matter.
Okay.
The overall is what matters. No individual show should make any difference.
Yeah, that's what I was kind
It's
of
not
curious
like that
of.
one hard
'Cause I was
drive is
just
being
envisioning-
overtaxed.
No, but that's why I was
The
like,
Mandalorian hard
envisioning,
drive
like,
has too many
I'm
people
trying
on
to
it.
get to Mandalorian. They're like, sorry, this one's busy, and so I end up watching
They should do that.
the Deedles.
It should be like Blockbuster, where only 5 people can watch it at a time. Sorry, you have to wait until Joe Blow finished.
This stream is currently unavailable. You have to be like, remember how you see the movie, be
I
all
know.
excited, and then there's nothing.
Aw.
There's nothing behind it.
That would be great. So be sure to tune in to Laughing Place all day tomorrow as we cover
Definitely.
as much Disney Plus stuff as we possibly can. And of course, we'll be talking about stuff next week. We'll probably have a word or two to say about The Mandalorian or Noelle or Lady and the Tramp or Old Yeller or something. And thank you again for tuning in.
And before we sign off, I'm going to give you one helpful tip regarding the arrival of Disney Plus. And that is, if you do not own a copy of Leonard Maltin's Disney films, a book that is, by the way, out of print, but there were 50 plus of them on eBay and in reasonable prices. You don't have to pay a collector's price for it. It will be a smart investment as you journey through the 300 plus films on Disney Plus, because he offers little synopsis of these films, and he himself is a passionate Disney fan, and so you're getting the information from somebody who loves Disney. So the book unfortunately it doesn't stay very thorough as it does in the earliest years, but those are some of the films that I'm the least familiar with, like things like the Parent Trap, or what was the one that it was like The Sword and the Rose, those types of films. He has a deeper synopsis of it. So I just want to give that little tip to people who are going to be learning about new Disney films.
Leonard Maltin, one of our first big-time interviews on Laughing Place.
Yeah.
Happy to say it. Next week, we'll be back for what it's worth.